Hello, everybody. My name is Larry O'Brien, and this is my sister.
Hi, I'm Donna Crispin.
And we have some exciting news during these end times. We are coming forward as fellow Christians, reaching out to fellow Christians. And the exciting news is that my sister's had consistent visits with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let her talk about that. We're going to just give a small testimony as to who we are, and then we'll get right into it, talking about what Jesus has been talking about with my sister. And to tell you, we're both new at this. This is our first time doing this, so forgive us if we're a little bit off or kind of shy and fumbling a little bit. But we felt led, like many other people on YouTube videos, to reach out to you, and this is the best way that we know how to reach a lot of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let my sister Donna talk about what she's
What happened?
witnessed. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, my name's Donna again. And, well, I guess first of all, I wanted to do a little background between us, brother and sister, actually. And so we were brought up in a Christian home. Our parents were both Christians. And, as we grew up, we had our own lives, our own children, our own things that we did. And myself, I had been a pastor's wife for 20 years. And then we moved and kind of retired. And then, kind of what you would say, we're going to talk about the gray area.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
talk
that,
about a lot of areas actually, as far as Christians.
right. And what the
And
Lord was
everybody.
talking to us about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell into the gray area. And then I was searching for things. And so finally the Lord told me, you need to get your life right. And I wasn't expecting it.
Talk to him about the visit.
I will.
Yeah, it's so
well,
cool, so exciting. They probably want to hear about it. So
right. Well, anyway, that's I was getting into.
sorry.
That I wasn't expecting it, and it was in June, and I was having. It was just an ordinary day doing my laundry, and I had some little bit of episodes of spiritual encounters, and I was actually trying to figure out what was going on because I do have discernment in that. And then I after that little episode, I went downstairs and sat there and trying to figure out what happened, and that's when the Lord came into the room. He came right into the living room and he came and sat right down by me. There was like it wasn't like a bright light, but it was a light. And I happened to be talking to my son on the phone. I was texting him, and I told him what happened, what was going on with the spiritual discernment thing. And then all of a sudden, when the Lord came in, I even typed it. I had to make sure because I have it on my phone. I said, something's happening here. And so I have a witness. My son was listening. He goes, what do you mean? I said, the Lord is sitting right there beside me. And
Wow.
he was he was jolly. He was very happy. And I even looked at him and said, why are you talking to me? And because I mean, of all people, why are you speaking to me? And then the Lord just looked at me and said, I have been speaking to you. I have been with you. And so it kind of came back to he's always with us all the time. He's always trying to reach us, and the Holy Spirit is always trying to talk to us. It's just the way that we open our hearts and receive it. And so I went in, and it was a whole night of asking questions, and I finally got to the point I couldn't ask any more questions. I ran out of questions.
You believe that?
So I've joked around about it for years. If I ever see the Lord, I'm going to ask him this, and I'm going to ask him that. Well, I asked as much as I could remember, and still he even asked me, do you have any more questions? So that was mine, and then it's been continuing ever since. Every day, he talks all the time. It's constant. In fact, us trying to get this video going, we had a little bit of complications, and I even said, okay, Lord, that's enough, and he started laughing. So, yeah, I do hear him laugh. He has huge laughter. It's wonderful.
So it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
one book has led to, when we say books, we're talking about notebooks
Yes,
full of
started with
questions,
this.
like a question and answer thing that you would.
Yes, I have tons of them. I've been filling them up like crazy because I write down everything that we talk about because I'm afraid, knowing me, I will forget, and I do forget. So I can
Don't we
always
all?
I can always refer to it. And he even said, "Don't lose those books because you can refer back to them," and that's what we do constantly. Go back if we have a question. What did he say? We can go back, and I write down exactly what he says. And I even, if I don't say it right, if I write it wrong, he even tells me that's not what I said. So I have to erase it. So I use pencil all the time. So
Okay. Well, me, why
oh
I'm here. Go ahead.
yeah. Well then, I wanted to say my brother. I had well, the one night I told him I was coming over, and I wanted to tell him that I spoke to the Lord, and of course, like some of you out there too, he was very skeptical, right? Very.
Yes, and
And
rightly so. I mean, we're told to test the spirits, right? So
right. And I knew he would. And so I prayed the whole time on the ride, make sure I say the right things and, make sure that that you're shown and not me. And so, I was a little nervous because it was my mom and dad and him. I felt like, and we were at my mom and dad have a round table. I felt we were like the knights of the round table there, and they were all questioning me.
we're at
But
our parents' house right now, actually.
right. And um, so I talked to him, and then gradually I could see it on his face that he was saying, "Yes, this is real." And so,
It's not that it's just real. And it's going to be for you too.
mhm,
It's not that it's just real. It fills in blanks.
lots of
It's
blanks.
direct talk. I know a lot of us that are Christians. I'll let you finish. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Hmm.
just to talk about that, it was very moving, and I'm sure you're going to be moved. I wish you could read these, just like we could just hand them to you, and
Read
you
it.
could read it. But we'll do the very best we can to convey everything that He's gave us.
Hmm.
There's going to be lots of videos talking about all different topics, all different things, especially right now.
Hmm.
Right now we are where we are in the time in history and in the world. So with me, I was just the same as her. Lived a normal childhood. Um, Grew up like many of us, backslid. And in recent years, I would say like about 5 to 7 years ago, just more and more conviction, start seeking, start getting back into the Bible on my own, and being raised in a church. The seed was planted there. I was saved at a young age, but
Hmm.
realistically, just didn't live a Christian lifestyle at all. Um, and so coming forward like this is a little bit humbling, but we're just throwing this out here to show you that we're just normal people,
Hmm.
normal everyday people. And I just wanted to say that for those of you that I'm sure do know that are Christians, it says it in Joel 2:28, and he says, and it will come about. I'm reading straight out of the Bible. It will come about that I will pour out my spirit on all mankind. Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions. And even on the male and female servants I will pour out my spirit in those days. We know it's those days, and as Christians, I think all of us have that conviction, that quiet conviction. Even if you're a Christian that's backslid, even if you're a Christian that's on the fence, where the world is pulled in 100 different directions right now,
Hmm.
right now is the time that we need to get back right. We're talking about an eternity,
Yes,
the
we are.
separation from God, and none of us want that, and we don't want that for you.
No.
I don't want it for myself. Um,
And the
so
Lord doesn't want it for you either.
right, absolutely. So He put it on my heart, and she came, my sister, when after this, she came and said that I'm supposed to be in this, and I
Hmm.
was like, what? Me? So I'm just doing my best, and we will do our best to
Yes.
convey this to you in a fashion that you guys will hopefully shine a little light. So today, in the first topic, all we're really going to talk about in this first topic is so many Christians, and Christians in specific, we're going to talk to in this session. And for those of you that are just listening in that aren't Christians, we hope that this sparks a light in you, or a spark, so that you can, seek your own way with God. Know that He loves you.
Mm-hmm.
Know that He wants you just as much as He wants the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that are Christians that kind of drifted away, and the world is in 1,000 different directions right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is seeking their way. I'm right, in different organizations, and there's all kinds of race, religion, nation, creed, all different kinds, pulling people in different ways in an effort to have their own voice. And realistically, He says it many, many times in the Bible. I'm the way, the truth, and the light. And in that, a lot of us are saying, well, as Christians, what are we supposed to be doing right now? A lot of us are looking for spiritual leadership. Some of us are looking for worldly leadership. A spark that's going to pull some light in you, or something that's going to get you going, a way to follow. And that's not going to happen. I'm just here to tell you that that's not going to happen. Especially if you know that during the end times, and as we approach the return of Jesus, at times are going to get darker. The lost are going to become more lost. A lot of the believers will fall by the wayside. So looking for some other person, or looking outside of ourselves for some type of inspiration, where realistically we, her, me, you, we're supposed to be the ones. We are supposed to be the ones leading the lost. That's the calling. That's the calling that He asks us to be. That's what we're supposed to do for the world. Does it mean that we have to, each one of us individually, constantly witness? Maybe. And each of us has our own conviction. But realistically, this is really just a call, as a wake-up call to get us right. And if you know, like she knows, and I know, and many of you that have made thousands of YouTube videos out there know, there's that quiet calling that's telling you, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. And you hear it, thousands of warnings. And like we just read a minute ago in the Bible, all the visions, the prophecies, the YouTube videos, the news, all prophecies being fulfilled in the Bible and things like that. There can be no way that we can stand in front of Him and say, I did not know. So hopefully through these teachings and that Jesus gave us to give to you, it will reach out, spark some of this, and please follow us. We'll give as many videos as we can. We're going to go through every single one of these to make sure that all the verbiage is out there for you, what Jesus said, and it'll heal your hearts. Trust me, it will. It will reach out in a way that I didn't expect, and it just will. So
it's very comforting too.
Yes, more so than that, more than anything that, also, where were we at? We're just going to kind of skip around in some of these books. There's we kind of wrote some notes. So in the green book, page 220, page 21, and I'm going to read from John chapter 8, verse 12. And Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. That goes right hand in hand when my sister had one of her visitations. And why don't you just read what he said?
Okay, I was actually sitting there wondering, what are we to do? What are, how are we to tell them about you? And he had said to me, I am the light of the world. There are so many people that don't know me. I want them to know me. There are so many different churches that are deceiving who I am. I want them to know the church I intended for my children to know. They are seeking, so many of them are seeking for Him. Reach out to them, heal their hearts, and I will come again.
When he said, I will come again, that was like
he
big capital letters you wrote there.
Yes, so. He said it He said it firmly and lovingly all at the same time.
Kind of like wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then why don't you go on
To the
page
next
11.
one. Yeah. He had taught. We had to number the pages. Okay, and then he said it to me again. I said, he said, where there is darkness, I will be the light. I am the light of the world. And he told me a little something about our sun that I did not know about. I thought it was a nice, neat thing. He said, the sun is for energy, and look at it when it rises in the morning. Draw on its strength. It's rising just as I will. I give you a diagram every day how it will be when I come, the light of the world. And he said, no one knows the time I come like a thief in the night. I come when all is only darkness, and darkness no one can see the thief. He hides the truth. He walks around in the shadows. Like the White House, they're doing things in the shadows, passing laws that you don't even know. We don't. We need light in there, and I will expose it. And I said, why do you say all this to me, Lord? And he said, um, he said, light is light. Light attracts light.
Light is light.
Mm-hmm.
Light attracts light. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read real quick out of Matthew, verse 5. What is it? What I have there? 5:13.
Yes.
So when we're talking about our walk as Christians, what we're supposed to be, light attracts light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's the light of the world, and we're his disciples, and his called, and his children, we're the children of light, right?
Yes.
So when we're talking about, if you've wondered if you've backslid, this is what Jesus says in 5:13 about us that don't follow his way. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has become tasteless, how will it be made salty again? It is good for nothing anymore except to be thrown out and trampled under the foot by men. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do men light a lamp and put it under the peck measure, but on the lampstand, and give it light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just going hand in hand with what Christ spoke to her about.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be the light. We are supposed to be the ones that are giving the message of eternal hope right now. There's not much time left. I think you know that. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So that just goes on to the next topic when he's talking about salt of the earth and it's becoming tasteless. In the Bible, it talks about becoming lukewarm and he'll spit you out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're hot or cold.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you're for him or against him.
Right.
Right? He used an analogy with my sister. What did he call it? The gray area?
Yes, he calls it the gray area.
He calls it the gray area. So it'd be lukewarm. So why don't you read what Christ said to you and explain to them what he said?
Okay. I'm trying to make sure there's so much here. I want to make sure that he says the right things. The one part I wanted to bring out is I wanted to see how he felt, if we don't receive his love. And he says, I love to all that will receive it. Everyone is different how they will receive my love. Some will reject it totally, and some will watch from a distance. Some will receive it and want to control their life as well. Some just want to be held and be close. The key thing with a Christian, or you, I call you a disciple when you follow me, is I ask that you give me all your life, not a part of it. And so he was talking about that in the gray area. And he said, we were talking about the disciples. There was a bunch of them, is when a bunch of people were following Jesus. And they all wanted to follow him when he went to, when he fed the 5,000. And then after they all followed him and they went across the sea and they came over to him and they were all asking, what can we do? What can we do to be like this? And he told them all, and they all, they drifted away like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, we can't do that. And then Jesus said, instead of listening, he said, there were 12 left after all those people who wanted to follow me. They wanted the right now factor, the self-fulfilling instantly. Like these people, they were hooked on video games. I think games are a good thing, he said, and to make you think. Violence, killing, and needing to play or anything that takes away attention from God is really a detriment to yourself. If things get hard or don't understand, they tend to lose interest. Instead, they should seek the truth, seek my righteousness, not pull away. There's a pattern, if you've not seen it all these weeks that we've been talking. There is no individual thinking much more. When people do think on their own, they either get scared and flock to the crowd or stand up and learn. I need people who will stand up and learn and not tend to follow the crowd.
Wide is the way.
Yes. And pray for these Christians out there. So many are lukewarm. As you well know and have expressed many a times, I cannot dwell in the heart of the lukewarm. Pray a spark will light to seek my face and not the face of things of the TV, games, people, animals, sports, crafts, drinking, food, fitness, science, math, or English. The list goes on. He's saying that anything that deters away from him, it can make you lukewarm and compromise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyday life
Mm-hmm.
without keeping him in the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that. So I think that we'll just go into, what was that, the Peacock book where you had that diagram that Jesus?
Uh-huh.
What Hebrews verse was that? For some reason I can't.
It's right here. I'll get it.
2.
Yes, it was.
I can't remember. You have it there?
Yeah, let me hold. It's right.
It's Peacock book. We have them named after different books that
Yes,
she just
because
had.
I have so many of them. I thought we had written that down. It's right here.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
It's okay. We'll
get it back. Yeah.
We'll get it back. So more importantly, I just want to go into what Jesus said directly from here. So
we were talking about faith.
Drifting away.
Yes, and
and
the
you
drift
asked,
away.
why do I do these things?
Yes. Why do we drift away? And he said, because it takes faith to give me your problems and not worry. It takes faith to believe I am a real God and only God. It takes faith to trust me in all areas in life that I'm in control. It takes faith as little as a mustard seed to move a mountain. Mountain is any obstacle that prevents you to believe in me.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain is any obstacle that
prevents you to believe in me.
Prevents you, but I'd always thought that when we were growing up that it was actually a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could move a mountain, I guess, like a force or or something. I guess maybe you could, but he talks directly that it's any obstacle that,
like he had just said, video games, that whole list that I had just said earlier, those could be obstacles.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right. My children that don't have faith, they give praise for things that they have as given. Where is the praise for a deep-founded faith in knowing me? He asked me, he showed me a diagram to draw, and he used it and actually said the words, this is a self-check for yourself to see where you are for the Lord, because a lot of us drift away. We don't know where we're at. We think we're close, and
right.
This actually has helped me a lot too.
It's just shown. It's pretty cool. I mean,
Okay. I don't know if you can see it.
Just hold it up there for a second. And if you see that, we all know that Christ is supposed to be the center of your life. If you look at that, Christ is in the center of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus has it. But in the outer rings, where that goes, it goes for faith, feelings, possession, and on the outside, very distant from God, is the opposite of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Satan. So
Mm-hmm.
where are you? Where are your priorities in life? If they're in your possessions, you're not closer to God. You are farther away from Him.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going by feelings or how you feel about certain things instead of how He tells us we're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
go to your personal interpretation, that's farther away from God,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we just need to make sure that we're keeping Him in the center of our life, and then everything will fall into place.
Right.
So go ahead and finish the rest of that, what he was saying.
Okay. He just asked me these questions, and which we just asked you. He said, I am in the center. How far are you? How far are your things? How far is Satan? Is your life, if your life is not in this diagram, then do a self check, which he told me to do. And he said, to where are you on that diagram? If you love possessions or depend on your feelings, how far are you away not to receive blessings? You will grow in Christ when your seed is planted in me and flourish. That's how much faith it takes, as small as a mustard seed. Give everything to me and watch how it grows.
And what does he say? Just read the yeah, why not?
It says, and if not, it's planted without me. Watch how it grows and withers. You have been dreaming. This goes into another section that we had to talk about. So.
Okay. Well, I found it. It's in Hebrews chapter 2, verse 1. And he says, for this reason, we must pay closer attention to what we have heard, lest we drift away from it. Mm-hmm. For if the word spoken through angels proved unalterable, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense, how shall we escape if we neglect so great a salvation? After it was at first spoken through the Lord, it was confirmed by us to those who heard. So that's just Scripture telling us, hey, just like this, hey, this is real, and could put Christ back in the center of your life.
He says that over and over.
It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. And the only comfort we're going to have right now as Christians is Christ. And to give other people that comfort would be awesome. So then you're on Green Book page 3. And then we'll wrap up with this for this first video.
Okay. He quoted John 3:16 to me. He said, for God so loved the world. And he told me love is more than a nice feeling. It is life. It is the air you breathe. I created all of it from love. So he created you and I through love, not just because he feel like creating it, because he loves us, and everything that's on earth he created for love.
Right. Well, this will be the end of this first video. Probably a little longer than we wanted. And thank you for watching the entire thing. We hope that you did. We're going to touch on all kinds of topics, from faith to our spiritual walk, to just everything that you can think of in your walk with Christ.
And we called it Lord's lessons too, because they're lessons from the Lord. They're not from us.
Right.
These are all spoken words that he spoke to us.
Absolutely. So we hope that we've given you some type of information, and please feel free to contact us. And we love and leave you for now, and may Jesus be with you.
Blessings to you.
Amen.
Amen.